Welcome to the February 12th, 2026 meeting of the Decatur Architectural Review Board. I will call roll with each commission member answering the question. Paige Bridges.
Here.
Barbara Kelly.
Present.
Patrick Brasco is absent today. I'm Jacob Woods, the board chair. We have a quorum present. Dr. Swope is the city's preservation specialist. Thank you to everyone who is attending today. Your involvement in this commission's proceedings is vital to the effectiveness of this process. There is a copy of the agenda out front if you'd like one. Historic district designation means your neighborhoods have been recognized by the United States government, the state of Alabama, and the city of Decatur as being architecturally and historically significant to our community. Historic districts are not created to prevent changes, but rather to ensure that the proposed changes are appropriate to the individual property and the district as a whole. The board's responsibility is to review the appropriateness of all proposed changes. Each historic resource within the district is assessed on its own individual merits. What is appropriate for one property may not be appropriate for another based on the resource age, location, neighboring properties, and stylistic details. The Architectural Review Board's rulings are based on written standards and regulations that guide our review and decision making. These guidelines and the Commission's decisions have the force of city ordinance. You can access our guidelines along with application forms on the city's website. Our hearing process is as follows. Staff will present the applications. When they read your name and property address, please be prepared to come to the podium. Staff will present the application and staff assessment of each request. When staff has finished presenting the application item, the applicant and/or designated representative will then state their name and address and provide any additional information or comments regarding that application item. The board may ask clarifying questions of the applicant at this time. Next, we will hear any public comments on that particular application item only. After public comment has closed, the chair will entertain a motion and the board will discuss and dispense of that application item. Staff will then proceed to the next application item and so forth. An approved certificate of appropriateness, or COA, will be issued in the form of an email that's copied both the applicant and the building department approximately 1 week after this hearing. The document will outline and reaffirm what was approved and that the project has been approved. A COA must be issued before a building permit can be obtained. If any changes to your project are anticipated after the COA is issued, it is the responsibility of the homeowner to contact staff and she will help guide you. In some cases, you may be required to submit the changes for review and an issuance of a new COA. If your project is denied and you are not issued a COA, you will be issued a letter stating the reasons for denial and additional information. Denied COAs will be sent via certified mail to the property owner's address filed with the Morgan County Revenue Commissioner's Office. You may resubmit an application with revised plans at a future meeting. There is an appeal process for a denied COA as well, which is spelled out in the municipal ordinance under section 1825 and 1892. After all applications are heard, the commission will entertain general comments from the public limited to 3 minutes per individual. Our first item of business today is approval of minutes from our January 6, 2026 meeting. All right, have a motion, have a second.
A second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, next item are expedited COAs since the January meeting.
It was a light month. We had 2 COAs, 616 Walton for a new mailbox and 216 Kane for an accommodation of some new fences and replacement fencing. Both of those were approved.
think that is the shortest list I've seen.
I think that's the shortest one in like 6 years. Legitimately. I actually went back and double checked because I was like, did you guys put some in the wrong place or something? You know, so it was just, that was just an easy month, which probably means we're in for it the next month.
Next, we have our new COA reviews.
So the first one, the address looks familiar, it's 216 Kane, and they had one of the fast track COAs. So there's multiple projects for this building. The first one is an outbuilding. So you see the property here, it is on the northeast side of King Street. Recognize the house. And why is this not showing? PowerPoint and all the, here we go. Yeah, all of the Microsoft Word projects got an update, so none of them are working properly now. It was a fun week. Here we go. So you might recognize this particular house. It's actually one of the new builds in the district. It went through design review with the separate original owners a few years ago. This is the addition of a storage shed behind the house. The shed is, proposed shed is 10 by 20 with LP vertical siding, vinyl single hung windows with false muntins and a modified board and batten shutter. So it is to go behind the house. This is one of the images where they went and they looked at it, wanted to sort of see what it would look like. This shows what it would look like in elevation. So this is the front of the house. This is a portion of the shed that would be visible. This is from the rear, but it just shows you that most of it is behind the house. Please note the plan that you had in your booklet that showed it as 12 by 20, but staff confirmed with the applicant it's actually a 10 by 20. I think they were looking at a couple different sizes. So for the design review guidelines, under new construction outbuildings, 22.1, design a new outbuilding should be compatible with the associated dwelling in architectural style and scale. 22.2, new outbuildings on the lot should be sited appropriately. Locate them to the rear of the dwelling or set back from side elevations. 22.5, materials for new outbuildings should complement the property. For new frame buildings, alternative siding materials may be considered if they resemble traditional wood siding in texture, dimension, and overall appearance. 22.6, designing the eaves and roof ridge of any new outbuilding higher than those in the existing primary building is not appropriate. 22.7, windows visible from public right-of-way should be appropriate to the style of the house. So on this, approximately 5 feet of the storage shed is visible from the street. The upper side of the shed roof, because it is just a single slant on it, is the part that's visible from the front. This type of roof has typically not been approved by the board. There was an example, I believe Barbara and Jacob, you were on the board at the time, over on Johnston, where you made them screen it and change the roofing material. The roof material and cladding material have not been approved and visible from the right-of-way. The property owners have indicated that they have the ability to slide the storage shed further behind the house. And so that option is probably more effective than requesting a redesign of the storage shed if they feel that they are still able to do that. And then it would just be sliding it completely behind. And the owners are here, and so if you have questions for them, they'll need you to come up to the podium so that you can speak into the microphone if they have questions.
I've got a question. I know, in my opinion, looking at it, I saw kind of 2 options. One would be changing the siding and the roof material, and if you turned it 180 and you had the slope to the front, then you would have, it would kind of look like it had a gable roof, even though it was a single slope. So you kind of change what you see. Like I said, the other option would be, like you said, to slide it over and kind of hide it all from view. And in the past, I think a lot of them we have approved had some materials that were a little different than the dwelling, but they couldn't be those were my two things, and I didn't know which.
Well, on your first option you offered, if we did that, then the door would be in the wrong direction. So I would go with your second option to move it over.
Okay.
And we've scoped it out there, and there's a horrible pole in the middle of our yard, or back middle, and it's gonna cost a lot to move it. I just assumed when we put the offer on the house that we could have it moved, no problem. That was wrong of me to assume that. So, but we have room to put it over behind that pole,
Okay.
and it would still fit and be not seen from the road.
Because I think if you kept it like that, there would be a lot of changes with the windows and everything. And to me, those were the two easiest options.
One question too is we're reconsidering the size. We haven't had it delivered, obviously. We could get a smaller one, and if we did that, we could also change it. So it'd be a whole different roof because he has different ones. So I don't want to complicate things, but
If you were going to have it this way where you could see part of the roof, it would need to be a shingle roof. You could do
they
that.
have shingle and they have metal, so we can choose on
And
that.
then on the siding, I would say you'd want to do shiplap siding, something similar to the house rather than the board back. That would be my two suggestions.
Okay.
Prefer not to see any of the windows because they don't really exactly match the style of what's going on in the house.
Well,
Size
then,
and proportion.
then whatever we got, it would need to be moved over then, because we wouldn't want to change the windows out on any of them. And I think the windows are the same on all those Amish built ones.
Is there a way to get it to where it's not seen, still have the window in it? Like, can the window be in a different position in the shed?
Oh, if we move the shed over, the windows won't be seen, the whole thing won't be seen.
Okay. I mean, if y'all are willing to shift it over where it's not seen, I'm.
Not a problem.
I'm good with that.
The size wouldn't be an issue if it's not seen. It doesn't matter which size, you offer the smaller size.
Yeah, that would make it even less seen, a bit less visible.
So you're talking about the length instead of being 20 feet, being 15 feet? or
Yeah,
something like that.
exactly.
I would be for that too.
Any other questions or discussion on this one? Do I have a motion?
So we would need a motion to amend the COA that it is approved as long as it is pushed behind the dwelling and not visible from the street. That's what they amended, that's what the motion would be to say.
Agreed.
You want to make one?
I'll make the motion.
I'll make a motion. You want me to do it? Okay. I make a motion that the COA be amended to shift the storage outbuilding behind the house so it can't be seen from the street right away.
I'll second Jacob's motion.
All those in favor? Aye.
Okay.
Opposed?
Should I just stay up here for the next
Yeah,
part?
okay, so the next one, which is out of order anyway. Okay, so back to the house. The second one is for a porch on the side. This is the addition of a screen porch on the southeast elevation of the house. It will be approximately 10 feet wide by 20 feet long. The porch is located near the center of the elevation. The porch will have a brick foundation border that matches that on the house. The proposed porch roof is a shed roof with a 312 pitch, and the roofing material will match the roof on the main house. And the screen material is this black vinyl coated material. That is an elevation. So design review guidelines for this. This building is new construction. It was built in 2021, and so the standards, we don't really have standards that specifically address just the porches on new construction. So this is sort of evaluated as if the porch was part of the original plan that came in from the get-go, if that makes sense, because our porch standards deal with putting porches on historic homes. So for new construction, it would be maintained roof form consistent with contributing structures around the block. And so when I went through the block, we have shallow porches in the district, have shed roofs, but there's no comparable shed roofed porch that is as large as this porch, because if you notice where that pitch comes in, it comes in fairly high. The porch roofs in the neighborhood that attach on gables in that way are either very shallow, or they're going to be doing a front gable or side gable on them. So this is the proposed. They also looked at, that is a side gable. And then this one is a hip, although we really don't have hips in the district. You're more likely to get hips off of a front wall, not as an addition as much.
And wasn't there a third option that the draftsman did?
Those are the three. So there's the shed, side gable, and then hip.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So all three options are on the table.
They had a draftsman draw all three. They preferred the shed roof. I believe, and correct me if I'm mistaken, the hip roof was your least favorite of the three because of the cost with that one.
And the look of it.
And within the district, what I'm finding with a rhythm is the side gable one is the one I'm finding for porches of this size.
Yeah, I mean, I can go ahead and start. I kind of drove around looking at houses that had the same form, you know, where you have a gable and a smaller gable that comes out in front of it. There's actually one on 210 Davis, one street over from you. It's not a porch, but it is an addition on the house, and it's a side gable, and it is pretty much the same form as your house.
Okay, I'll have to drive
So,
by.
I'm leaning more towards the gable. Just, I think there were a couple other ones I saw that were a little bit more shallow, but they still had a side gable.
Mm-hmm.
There's one on Oak that had that as well. So that would be where I would lean to. The other thing I saw, but I didn't know if there was any way to slide this further back in the front corner of the house. Because the more you kind of slide it back on that side elevation, you're viewing it like this as elevation, but when you're actually out there in real life, the further you push it back, the less it affects the form on the front of the house.
Oh, sure.
So I know it looked like you were trying to avoid maybe getting the kitchen window inside
Exactly.
the porch, and didn't know if that was an option to kind of push that back to the edge of the door, but it would put that window inside the porch.
Oh, you wanted it that far? Yeah, we were taking it maybe this far from the window. Yeah. Wouldn't you say it was about that far from the window?
From the kitchen window.
Yeah, and we could move it closer to the kitchen window, if that makes any difference, to move it that far, so it kind of abuts the kitchen window. I just hated to cut out that light, because we're already losing some of the light with the screen doors.
Those were my two kind of thoughts and comments.
It's tricky because it's newer, but it's still located within the district. So I think that's where you get into wanting to make sure that it aligns with everything around it.
Mm-hmm.
I do think the picture of the side gable, that rendering, is more in line with what you would see in the district. The roof with the porch is funny on the other one.
Yeah, that one looks more subdivision-y, if that's a word.
I don't know if the pitch on the roof necessarily has to be the same if it's pushed back. Could you adjust that so that the ridge may not hit so high?
She was looking at that, and I don't know how much leeway she gave me, but she did talk about the pitch and the height of it.
Because a lot of times you can drop it like an inch,
Oh,
or
she
a
could,
foot or something, and a lot of people can't tell, especially at the angle you're viewing it, they wouldn't be able to tell
Yeah.
the difference. From
I think we
going
could
from
adjust it that
5
much
to
for
12
sure.
to 4 and 12, there's
Yeah.
not a whole lot, but it may drop that ridge down a foot.
Mm-hmm. I like that too, and I'm sure we could get the Caroline, no, what is her name? The lady who did the drawings? She does a lot of drawings for people, and I'm just blocking her.
I believe it's called.
Colleen.
Colleen.
Should remember that, a good Irish name.
How much is the additional setback? I mean, does it say in here?
Don't know that dimension on the drawing.
It was on the plan and version of the elevation.
Yes, I don't know if you have do you have a plan in your, because there's an existing patio now.
Yeah,
You pulled this forward from
exactly.
that patio.
Yeah, this will probably answer some of the questions.
Well, it's not letting me access it. I'm trying to,
You got to sign in.
yeah, I'm not entirely sure what it's allowing me to send in. So here you show it's sort of back about 25% off of the front. And if it moved any more, there's a window right here that would be blocking.
So it is pretty close already. I thought we had more room
I was
on
almost
that.
about starting right where your patio was and going back. I know it's.
We can make it shorter, it doesn't have to be 20 feet. It's just what our old screen porch was, and we enjoyed that size. But we could bring it back some to make that more amenable.
And I think when evaluating this one, just a question to ask is if the porch had been on there when this plan came in, and I think this was Flight, was the builder on this one, would you have accepted the porch in that location at that time?
For me, it was all about form. I mean, is the porch, you see that necessarily not on the old ones, but it is a new build. And I'm looking at the overall forms, and I mean, I'm looking at the one on Davis, and it's a gable and it's got a piece that comes out to the side. So, I mean, form-wise, I think it fits what's in the neighborhood and close to it.
Are you saying that with the gable or with the shed roof?
With the gable.
Okay.
There's one picture of that house. It actually has a similar form to it.
So it sounds like if they are agreeing to change the roof line to a gable, the sizing is okay as proposed. The sizing would not need to be reduced.
I prefer it to be a little bit off the front corner a little bit. That's the one thing that the other ones have with that same form, is a little bit of distance between the front corner of the house and where the side gable starts.
So Jacob, this says it's almost 8 feet off the front corner. Are you saying you want it pulled even further back than 8 feet? And if so, how much more?
The front elevation picture makes it look like it's even, but you can see
Yeah, it looks like it's really
more,
set back.
it sits back.
It's set back, so I don't, yeah.
You said 8 feet.
It's almost at 8 feet setback.
That one's considerably set back. That one's more off the back of the house. The one on Davis.
That's going on the other side, not as deep.
would you need to shorten the 20-foot of the proposed addition? If she doesn't want to shift it back to close her kitchen window, how much would she need to shorten the 20 in order for it to be back far enough to?
It's 8 feet now. How many feet do you want it? Hmm?
Take a couple of feet off the front.
That's what we're talking about. I'm just there trying to decide how much.
That's just me. That's just a lot. But I understand the, want to keep the kitchen window out.
10 by 18 would still be a good size, even just 2 feet.
That is a new deal too, so we're making some.
Well, would it look right if she added to the 10, if she made it shorter? If she made it considerably shorter in the front, but she added,
How much room do you have to the kitchen window?
From the kitchen window to where it is? I thought it was about this much space.
Doesn't look like there's a lot there.
It reads about a foot, maybe less. And you're gonna have trimmer on that window too.
Yeah, I wouldn't go any closer to that.
So how many feet more back would make it significant enough that you would think it was dropped back enough? 2 feet, 5 feet?
I think it would be more like putting it towards the back of the house where the walk-in closet is.
Not quite that far, but I was thinking like about where the patio is and then going back that way. That's just my.
So you are saying y'all would want us to cover up our kitchen window and that light if we're gonna have a screen porch? We can't have light coming in, we'll be looking out at the screen porch?
It's not ideal.
Mm.
Is that the only window in the room, in the kitchen? Is that,
No, there's double doors where you'll walk out the double doors to the screen porch. But of course, some of that light will be diluted from the screen porch covering it. And the whole front has windows, but,
okay, so that side is that the east side?
Yes.
mm-hmm.
So you'll get nice morning light.
I mean, to me, going from 10 to 20 is a nice size, but I don't have to have it 20 feet. I would rather shorten it than cover up a window and move it back further.
And there's no opportunity for the width to expand.
Plus, there's a water faucet there, and we don't need to cover up the water faucet. That would be covered up if we move it any further back, or if we moved it all the way back, that would cover up the water faucet.
I don't think they can move it further to the property line. There are setbacks required.
Well, I think the other thing about shortening it up a little bit also brings the ridge down and doesn't kind of make it look so big on the side.
Yeah,
It looks
that's-
like a big, so if you
that's
kind
a
of
good
shorten
point.
that and the peak comes down. And,
That's a good point.
and so, I think that's it. If you take a couple feet off of that, it all starts to change in proportion.
Laura, it would help a lot.
That sounds like a good compromise. Just how many feet are y'all thinking?
Is it 20 right now?
Mm-hmm. 10 by 20.
So if it's 8 feet back now, if you shortened it to 17 from the 20, that would make it 11 feet back. is that going to give the appropriate look?
What's the roof pitch?
She has it in there, but I don't remember off the top of my head.
She does not have a roof pitch on this one, she has it on the shed.
Hmm. I wonder if she put it in the drawings. We have physical drawings of it too. I don't know if she put it in those or not.
So in my notes, I'm hearing two things, and I want to make sure I've got them down properly. One is concern with the ridgeline location, and the other is potentially where it intersects on that elevation, how close it is. So what I've got down so far is the potential to drop that ridgeline shorter. If that can be done without making the porch smaller, is that acceptable?
She's saying not moving it back, not making it smaller, just changing the ridge.
I'm trying to figure out if that's, because I had two different things in my notes, so I was trying to figure out if that was an option. And if so, that's something that can come back for staff review with you looking at in an amended COA, so they don't have to come back in again. So I just want to make sure I was lining up all my notes.
I think so, if that's 5 and 12, and if they do change the dimension on it, you're, keep the pitch the same, you're losing almost a foot down. Now, if you were to reduce the pitch, then it would come down even more. And, I'd have to kind of look and see what the,
She said something about if we reduce it too much, it would be an issue
it is.
going in and out.
Yeah, that there's a fine line between how much you can take that down. I think that's possible. We can get the ridge down a little bit.
So is that something that you want to amend the COA then to approve the porch with it going through administrative review once their designer sees how much lower they can drop that intersection for that ridge line?
I think so.
Is that what?
I think
Okay.
Okay, and let me ask, like, if that somehow wasn't an option, what would be the next option? That would be dropping it further back to 15 feet or something, 10 by
I
15?
was looking at I was thinking 3 feet. I was looking at the 17, kind of got that.
That got it where it
Yeah,
needed
you
to
got
be?
that foot off of it.
Mhm.
You know, so if you don't change the roof pitch, you can get that foot. off
Okay.
by shortening.
So that will be our other option if that won't work on the pitch.
On the pitch.
Okay, I'll talk to her.
An amended COA that says that.
Okay, I can do that. I'll make a motion to, for the side porch, for the COA to be amended to accept the gable roof with either changing the slope to reduce the ridge height or changing the length of it to reduce the ridge height.
Okay. And then it goes through
And we go
administrative.
through staff review
Yeah.
for approval before construction.
Okay.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So on this, then what we'll do, I'm pretty sure I have her email in my system, so I can email her and CC y'all and say, hey, this is what we need to see for the next round.
Perfect.
Once she gets it to me, I can get back together with Jacob, we can take a look at it, and we can get it approved.
Thank you, I appreciate you doing that, Caroline.
Any other questions on this one?
Thank you, ladies,
Thank
gentlemen.
you. see on the left, you can't see it at all. You can only sort of vaguely see it here when he's standing on his neighbor's property, and even then, it's really difficult to see. So that's why the picture you have is so truncated. You can't see it from the front at all. Yeah, I went by it again this morning, like that's it. So it's not visible at all. So what he's asking to do is to enclose the porch, so essentially pull the window wall, pull this whole wall out, which means the door moves out and the window moves out with it, and so this would just be enclosed. There are really no guidelines that address enclosing non-visible portions of buildings. The board has typically allowed changes to non-visible portions of buildings that don't damage character-defining features. And this porch would not be considered a character-defining feature of this house, and in fact, it's not even visible from the public at all.
So if I understand this right, you're bringing the wall out to where that column line is, pretty much
Going to make it flush with the
with
other
the
exterior
portion
wall.
over here.
Going to use the same material and everything.
Yeah. Okay. So you just pull that window, bring it out. You're going to take the door that's 8 foot in and bring
Right.
that out to this.
Bring it out.
Any kind of landing at the top of the stair?
Oh, you mean after it's done? No, we'll probably just go to the door.
Does that door open in? I'm assuming
Is that what?
opens in.
The door that is there now is a screen door that opens out, and then an inside door that opens in.
I didn't have any.
I can support it as proposed.
Do you have any questions or?
No.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept it as proposed.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
See you later.
All right, thank you.
All right, next up are the 2026 Preservation Awards. We actually stopped the live streaming on this portion just because we don't want to broadcast everyone who's getting the awards a few months out. It's still a public meeting, so if you're in here, you definitely do hear it. But Lamar, can you take so we can talk about?
Yeah, absolutely.
a motion to send this list to the HPC.
I make a motion to send the 2026 HPC Preservation Award nominees to the HPC for approval.
I'd like to second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And last, compliance updates. 606 Milton, there is none on this one to report on. This is with code enforcement. It has been sitting with them for some time. They are very much aware of it. 641 Milton, you might remember this one. It looks like they may have removed some of the foam or the caulking material, but in the winter months, everything stopped. So I'm going to reach out to them again and say, okay, let's discuss. Are you getting ready to remove the rest of it? I don't have a picture of the overall house because you can't see it that well. But when you get up close, that's when you realize they were filling compound in all the bricks. 850 Jackson, they do have a sign in their yard because they did have an active COA that was approved to do substantial repairs on the door. They took the door off the hinges, they did the repair, and then the next time I went by, most of that brick tile front patio has been removed. That was not part of the COA. So the owner for this house is in Huntsville. This is not a locally owned house, so I sent them a letter requesting that they come in front of, either send me a COA so either I can review it or it goes in front of the board so we can have discussion on getting that stoop back working again. And then 506 Canal, this is one that a few months ago I had a lot of COA back and forth with the new owner. Everything was fine, everything approved. And then the other day I went by and I'm not really sure where the 8-foot fence came from and why it's at an angle. And then of course that row of arborvitae, which is going to grow up to essentially be a 20-foot tall living wall, and those are not allowed that close to the street. They have to sort of go back. So I sent them a letter. This one, I honestly cannot tell who owns it. It's listed with a company that has addresses in 3 different places. So I sent every address I could find a letter. And that's actually going through the state's business directory. Like I needed to get code compliance to help with this one because it sort of had a name, but then it didn't have a name, but then there was a company in Huntsville, but then there was a company somewhere else. So they all got letters. So we will see. But the 8-foot tall fence is too tall. Even city ordinance, you can't be above 6. So, and I don't know why it's at an angle.
That other outbuilding was approved with the metal sign on it? Or was that?
That is unpainted. That has been there a while. I think it got a new paint job. That is a neighboring house. They had a slew of COAs about 2 years ago. I think, and I don't know why. Some of it got painted and some of it didn't, and the house got new front porch railing, if I remember correctly. But that's not the 506. That's a different property.
I would not be surprised if that went in before the district was even created.
Yeah, based on the wear on the doors, I think it's been there a while. Yeah. But those are my compliance updates.
That one on Bolton started out so good.
That one was unfortunate because the contractor sent in a spectacular COA. Like, it will be the model for all COAs, and I was actually going to use that on the city's page as this is so the contractor, but then the property owner has to actually hire the contractor to start the work, and it's just been radio silence since then. And I reached out to the contractor, and they said they have not heard back a thing.
Who is the property owner?
It's in Huntsville.
They aren't local, right?
No, they live in Huntsville. They live out near Owens Crossroads, I think, if I remember correctly. They also own the gas station in